factory. Hands are dirty, so you already know things are happening. One of the main things that I'm trying to do right now is pretty much adapt, because, you know, we're all switching over to dry sump.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Ow.
Yeah. And it's kind of crunch time at the moment, and in the midst of all that, I'm trying to make everything work as much as possible without spending $1 million fucking dollars. Got this Moroso, really nice piece too. Oil filter, remote adapter, and everything with the dry sump that I'm using. It's a 2-stage pump that I'm using. I actually don't have it here yet. Brandon at PSI still has it, but everything that I'm running for the pump itself needs to be -12. So Peterson recommends, I mean, some people are saying they use -10. I mean, I get that, but considering I only have 2 stages pulling from the pan, I'm gonna use 12 just all throughout. And just I bought everything, it's already here, why not, you know? But I got this really cool tip from Nathan. So like the Moroso piece has these 2 pieces here, just these elongated holes, and they're actually just big enough for like a M10 to fit through. So we're gonna be mounting that right on the front of the block, just like our boys on the other side of the pound. That's sharp. With a little bit of light, just so you can see what that looks like. Just screw these 2 studs right into the front of the block, and we'll run this right here. So pretty much what will happen is you'll have, in theory, the dry sump pump is gonna get mounted probably somewhere between these 3 bolts. And I'm doing a little bit differently because most people that are running dry sump don't have the OEM water pump. They also don't have the OEM oil pump there. They just kind of run right off the crank with a shorter belt. But I'm leaving everything there because I actually still push water just through like these little sections of the block, through these holes. So the whole block's fully filled, but I'm still utilizing everything that's there. The plan anyway is to basically have the pump mounted right here. And basically the way that dry sump works is on an OEM engine, all the oil is a wet sump anyway, which is what most OEM engines are. You'll have all the oil in the oil pan of the engine itself. With a dry sump, it's not that way. Essentially, it's meant to be dry, like the terminology states. And basically what will happen is that all the oil is held separately and externally in a standalone like oil tank. And it's being fed into a pump that forces it into the engine, because through the factory what will happen is it'll pick up to suck the engine. The factory oil pump will suck up the oil, push it in to the block through this little galley right here. It'll come out this hole through the oil filter, out the oil filter into this hole, which is the main galleys, and then it'll go left, right, up through this hole to feed the head, down through other holes in the block to feed the mains, and that's how the engine is fed. The benefits of dry sump is that all the oil is external, there's no cavitation. Also, all the oil that's getting forced into the engine is all clean, it's not aerated. It's nice. Good benefit no matter what you do, no matter what the G-forces are of the car, left, right, wheelies, inertia. It's always getting fed clean oil, and that's a real benefit to this. Plus, I get to run my fuel pump driven right off of the back of the oil pump as well. So the fuel pump would actually be like right here somewhere. So I gotta actually be easy with how I feed the actual inlet for the oil. So I'm just working on that right now too. But yeah, let's see how all of this ends up getting plumbed. It's actually gonna be a lot easier for me to do this when the pump is here, but it's not here yet. So let's see what we end up working with. All right, so fast forwarding things a bit. Time has come to try to get all of this together. We actually pick up the cranks for the block tomorrow from FFE. So what I'm trying to do now is pretty much get everything cleaned up, doing some test fitting, with some fitting in line again. This is the dry sump pan. I gotta get this plumbed. One of the cool parts I have are these filter fittings. And what I'll basically be doing is getting these in and arranged in the pan. So the actual pump is gonna pull from these two. The center I'm just gonna plug because I have pretty much a 3-stage pump. So one of the stages is to pressure in and out, and the other two are for scavenge. So that's for, I'll pull from these, and I'm gonna plug this one. Maybe eventually I'll get to upgrade to like a 4-stage pump, so we'll be pulling from all three. But for now, I think this will work out pretty good. So I'm gonna get these in. I'm gonna see how some of these dash 12s kind of arrange a bit and how I plan on running them. I have a decent idea how I'm gonna do it, but the final product is still a little bit of a mystery. Let's see how that goes. All right. I actually really like that. It's got this nice dash 12 plug, black to match the rest. For those of you that have never seen the inside of a dry sump pan before, you've got these ports here. There's actually tubes that go from here in the pan, and all the oil that comes down from the engine is pulled out or sucked out by the dry sump pump, which actually is going to get mounted right here. So the goal for me anyway, being as I don't have the engine on the stand right now, anyway, the pan's going to be right under. And what I think I'll do is run this 145 on the right and that straight on the left. This one will come and basically just go up into the pump, and this 45 here will basically come over a bit, and same thing. All right, so we're back again. Time has come to actually get this black cleaned and ready to basically put back together and assembled. Gonna get this outside. You know, as you can see, it's disgusting. There's oil, there's residue everywhere. I'll be scrubbing pretty much a lot of this out. Getting through the galleys, I remove the oil galley plugs. Bearings are out. We'll be getting into all these crevices, as you can see. You know, oil gets pumped in through the mains. These are the mains, and they're cross drilled straight through. This is what feeds the main bearings, feeds oil to the crank and the rods. So getting these areas clean is critical, you know. So let's jump on that, and then I'll get this back in here, get this workstation cleaned up a bit, and we can slowly get ready to assemble. All right, that's about as clean as I was able to get everything. So now I gotta clean those rods. Those are the ones that are gonna go back in this engine. Those are gonna go back into that block eventually. So, oh, by the way, we picked up both cranks today from FFE. That's gonna be these two. Nice, freshly balanced, polished, good to go. So, yeah, it's almost assembly time. I still need to clean out the bores a little bit better. I'm gonna do that with some automatic transmission fluid, but what I'm gonna also do first is measure the actual main bores themselves, make sure everything is to spec, which it should be, and I get to finally play with my new bore gauge. So all right, so I went ahead and actually took all the measurements of the tunnel, which basically means what we did is we measured the bore of every single one of these mains. And just to kind of show you what I did here, we zeroed this out. Right, it's not zeroed now, but it will be zeroed once it's in the bore, well, in the mic. So we stick it inside of the mains, the bore, and then what you want to do is find the point where the needle basically barely moves and gives you your reading. So this one, as you can see, is right between, it's about 2.5 thousandths. All right, and I know I'm measuring based on the mid-length of the tunnel. So this is the minimum tunnel allowable clearance, maximum. So we take the mid, right, and I zero to that, and then we are taking these measurements here based on the mid-length. So we are plus minus based on that. So as you can see, tunnels 1, 2, 3 are, you know, a little bit over the mid-length. 4 is slightly under, 5 is over. So Yeah, and then now what we'll do is we'll pop all these caps off, set the bearings in, main bearings, torque them all down to spec, and then what we do is measure the journals on the crank with the outside mic, and then we'll come back and then take the measurements of all the mains with the same bore gauge again, and then the difference is basically your vertical oil clearance. So pays to kind of know now instead of having all the guesswork before. Yeah, you know, before what was going on is that, you know, yeah, you drop your thing off to the machine shop, you know, you pick your block up, you have no idea what's going on, and then when there's a failure, you're like, yo, what the fuck, you know? So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do right now, is just preventative maintenance, learning a thing or two, and then being able to, you know what's going on instead of walking into a dark room. So let's jump on the next thing. Something really interesting to note. So if you look at my reading here for number 5, you see how we're kind of at the max tunnel measurement? Well, something that we've been doing for years with the 3S, because what happened is that unless you had like an aftermarket oil pan, like a Moroso or something like that, which I do now, which they give you clearance for this last main stud if you use ARP main studs. If you went to like a Gen 3 pan or Gen 4 pan or something like that, most people would either not use the washer or cut the bolt down, right? And when you cut the bolt down, there's less exposed threads of these mains here. So I was always told, yeah, you know, it's not a big deal, not a big deal. So I had that installed this way, and this was the reading I got, 4.4. So something told me, it's like, yo, you know what? I got another set of ARP mains. Let me go toss equal lengths of the mains in here, same length, and using a washer now. So as you can see, all the mains are the same height. And I toss this in, and we just level that out. But before it was literally at around 5,000s. Now it's about I'd say 2.5, maybe 2 or less, almost even with 0, which effectively lines this up with just about the rest of these. So the more you know, one of the more reasons why you should invest in your tools, invest in yourself, and you'll be able to answer your own questions.